Welcome to this week's Flippinar, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. For those of you that are showing up, please announce where you're from and your name so we can say hello and others can do so also. But again, welcome to this week's live Flippinar, where we answer your questions on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We would love for you to share. Welcome to this week's live Flippinar, where we answer your questions on Instagram. We would love for you to share this with a friend, family member, or anyone you think that's interested. They just simply need to go to YouTube and do a search, but you can also go to Flippinar.com and just simply tap the button that fits you, whether it's YouTube or Facebook. If you're on Instagram, you probably got an alert letting you know that we are live. So again, welcome to this week's Flippinar. While everyone gets ready to load, Adrian, you can go there and you can get in the chat room now from Flippinar.com just to give you that heads up. We appreciate her showing back up this week to assist me with trying to get as many questions in so I can possibly get them answered. So again, welcome live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. So we have it rigged up here on all three platforms live, L-I-V-E, on this particular Thursday night. Oh, next Thursday, I'm not sure that we'll have a Flippinar. I'll know probably by Wednesday. You know, this next week is 4th of July weekend. A couple other things I may have going on after that, so I'm not sure. So if I'm not here, that's what happened. So just giving you the pre-warning that we might not have one next week. I'm not sure, not on July 6th, I think the date is. So again, welcome aboard, everyone. If you're just getting into the chat room, let us know where you are, whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Say hello and where you're from. So you can start loading your questions. Again, Adrian joined us this week, again, to help me put this on. As long as you all keep showing up, we'll keep doing it, hopefully. So, Adrian, would you like to say hello?
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. Nobody's getting caught up in the weather. And, oh, you got Derek from Indiana, Brandon from Florida, Chicago, Minneapolis, Washington, D.C., Dallas, Milwaukee, Detroit, all over the place. Hi,
guys. That's what's happening. So, again, start loading your questions, guys. We can go ahead and get into it already. I'll be reading the ones from Instagram. So, we've had a little inclement weather here in this part of Alabama anyway, so not being your meteorologist or whatever, but load your questions, so let's get into it. Oh, while we're waiting on people to start asking their questions or whatever, anyone that texts me or whatever, never think I'm being rude or whatever if I refer you back to my free videos. It's just that information, that's part of why I put it up there for you to take advantage of it. And I can know just from the question that a lot of people ask, you haven't watched a lot of my videos or whatever. So take advantage of what's free. And here on the Flippinars, you can ask whatever. I'm going to try to answer. If I know the answer, if I don't, I'll definitely let you know I don't know. So, but again, I appreciate everyone that's showing up this week. And let's get rocking and rolling. If you have any questions, you're going to ask them on Facebook, YouTube, and or Instagram. So we got anything yet?
Yes, indeed. We have Brandon James on YouTube. He asked, where should we post houses under contract if you don't have a set up buyers list?
Well, obviously, Craigslist is going to be your first place that you can do that with. You used to do it fairly easy on Zillow. They've made it a little bit more difficult to do it that way. You can finagle it a little bit, but and then Craigslist is going to be a student of mine say he saw some properties on Let Go, which is an app that you can download. I think pretty sure it's for Apple and Android devices or whatever. So, but offline is well, obviously you can put it in Facebook groups locally or not local and get that exposure. That's free. The other thing that you can do that's very, very powerful is putting out actual bandit signs in that particular area. You know, house for sale, 25,000 cash in your phone number. So you're going to get all types of calls, but people that invest in that area, if you have a great deal, they know a great price when they see it. Now you're going to get calls on people on the rent. You're going to get people want to do repairs for you, other investors, wholesalers or whatever. That's fine, but you're also going to get the cash buyers calling, seeing if to try to find out more information about the property. But again, if you have a great deal, you know, your phone will ring off the hook for sure.
All right. Nicole Anthony, again on YouTube, asked, are we actually buying the houses when they are on contract, and can we be sued for anything?
No, you're not. Well, let me back. You are, the contract that you have is saying, hey, I'm buying the house. Now, what you do in between the time that the house is purchased and the time that you put it on the contract, that's all fair game, unless that contract states that you can't do that. So in reality, what you're doing is getting a controllable interest for a very short period of time, normally 30 days or so. And someone is basically buying your contract. That's done through what we call an assignment of contract. Some people would do a double close, which is 2 transactions. But can you be sued for anything? Yeah, you can always be sued, you know, but do they have a legitimate lawsuit? Which in this case, no, you know, because they signed a purchase and sales agreement, very, you know, the one that I use anyway, very simple, straight to the point. But again, you can always be sued. You know, Walmart gets sued every day, but somebody has a legitimate gripe, but you know, you can't prevent someone from actually suing you, but can they win? So that's easy answer. You can always be sued.
All right. We have Off-Roader. Going back to the question about posting the houses on Craigslist, she says, when I advertise on Craigslist, do I put the address of the property there?
I would recommend that you don't. You want to try to keep your property off market as much as possible, because people will try to backdoor you. Other wholesalers will try to just run with it, and they may not really mean anything in a negative way, but it may turn out that way. So you want to try to keep that not available as much as possible online. You just can give that out whenever people. You want to include the area where the property is located, but not the actual address, in my opinion. A lot of ways to do this, but that's just my opinion.
We're getting our guys on Instagram. Did you have any questions on Instagram?
Not yet. Not yet. Oh, well, I'm sorry, I got one right now. Okay. You want to mute. All right. From Instagram, I'm not sure about the handle. When is the time to tell the buyer you are collecting an assignment? Well, you can tell them up front if you want. Really, you just answer the questions that are being asked. At some point, they'll know, but you can tell them up front if you want. Doesn't matter. If they don't want to deal with you, that's fine. They're not the only buyer out there. Someone else asked, how can I find a buyer? You just advertise your properties. If you have this is on Instagram also. If you have a great deal, you know, buyers will contact you. It's not hard to give away money. So someone else said, are you giving away any free courses or coaching? No, I'm not. What else do you have, Adrian? You got something on Facebook?
I don't. No one's on Facebook. I asked, was anybody there? And nobody's responding.
You want me to read it?
Well, let me take a moment. I'll refresh that then, because I'm not showing anyone there. I apologize, guys. Let me give you this question on YouTube. It says, are you familiar with the hotel strategy, get property under contract and list it on MLS as is.
You don't have to mute it. I'll do it, Adrian, because I think you can't move your thing. I'll do it. Just go ahead and unmute it, and then I'll take care of it. So what was that question again?
Are you familiar with the wholesale strategy, getting the property under contract and then list it on MLS as is?
Well, you could do that, I guess. When you start doing things like that, you're assuming realtors know what's going on. Even if you get a realtor that is on board, it's just the other realtors that are promoting the deal. I just wouldn't recommend that. You know, realtors are so finicky, man. You're gonna always have one that don't understand wholesaling, or they just hate that it is what it is, or whatever. I wouldn't recommend doing that. You know, if you have a great deal, you don't need MLS. There's just too many other options to put your property out there that buyers will be begging you for if you have a great deal.
Okay, Corin, and this is on Facebook, Ms. Jackson asks, can you be successful selling regular homes instead of distressed homes? She hasn't found many distressed homes in her area.
It doesn't matter about the condition of the property in the sense of you can only do properties that need a lot of repairs. A lot of the properties I do, they're livable. The one we just wholesale yesterday, the property is livable. You know, someone was actually living there. So don't get caught up in the word distress. Distress may mean they're behind on payments. Distress may mean that they're going through a divorce. You know, it's a distress situation. Your goal is a motivated seller. Now, just ironically, a lot of times the properties that you'll be able to do deals on, they do need a lot of repair. That's part of the reason they may want to sell, but those are not the only properties that you targeted just because they need repairs. It's more the motivation of a seller. And if the equity there for you to negotiate a deal, then, you know, you roll with it. But it doesn't matter in the sense of repairs of whether it's actual, those are the only ones that you can target. So, you can wholesale pretty house. You can wholesale a brand new house if there's enough equity there.
On Facebook, someone asked, the question is, I'm new to the site and looking for, let's see here, that question kind of went out. See here. New to the site, but looking for a path into the flipping game. What's the best way to get started?
Okay, the best thing is to educate yourself, whether it's through the free information that I offer or wherever you get your information from. You need to know what you're doing. You know, sound like you know what you're talking about. You know, that's more important than anything. But even after you've gained the knowledge is great and you need it, but taking action is more important. So you must educate yourself first. Let me ask a couple here from Instagram. So Instagram, you know, some of these are scrolling. I can only see like 2 at a time, and depending on how long the question is, I can only see 1. So keep that in mind. Someone from Instagram says, did you get your phone ringing or did you cold call? Well, I'm not going to do a lot of cold calling. I may get someone to work with me to do the cold calling. So I'm going to always get my phone ringing. That's the only way I can be successful in business, is I got to have people calling me. Someone from Instagram say, what's good, Flip Man? What's good with you? I think it's Ben Flips Houses. So what's up, Ben? What we got, Adrian?
Okay. Next question on YouTube from Mr. Cornell. How do you handle, or what are your rules when you get calls from landlords looking to sell tenant-occupied properties? How interested are cash buyers in tenant-occupied props, and do you advise pursuing those leads?
Well, some of it just depends on the area and what type of the situation with the tenant. Down that will cut off a lot of the buyers that I say a lot. It'll cut off some of the buyers that maybe would normally be potentially interested because they have no interest in doing rentals, and they don't want to wait to get the tenant out of there. Even if the tenant agreed to move, a lot of times they don't even want to take the risk of the tenant changing their mind and not moving out. So but you can do those deals. A lot of times again, it depends on the area, what type of tenant you have, whether it's a Section 8 or a straight rent, how long has the tenant been there? Can the owner satisfy you or the potential buyer with their records on the property as far as how well of a tenant they are and so on. So all of that will factor in on whether or not you'll have a deal or not. Then sometimes you have to get them really cheaper because they have a tenant, and then sometimes because of the tenant, you don't have to get them as cheap. So it just depends on a number of factors there. So let me try to read one from Instagram if I can see it. Someone asked, should they get a DBA or an LLC? Both work, just whatever fits what you're doing, but both will work.
Okay, for those just joining us, Gregory Norman Jr. has an awesome question for you, Ty. He says, what's your website, and is there information on there to get started? Where can you find that at?
Well, as you see in the background, that's part of the reason I went with this. Hey, flipman.net is your answer. That's it. Flipman.net, and you can find out if you want the coaching and step-by-step courses. There you go, flipman.net. Let me ask one from Instagram again. Someone says, I'm looking to get started in July. What's a realistic number of houses to aim for per month when just starting? This is from Instagram. So with that question being asked, it's all going to depend on how effective you are at getting leads in your funnel, basically, whether it's through cold calling or through some form of marketing and advertising, bandit signs, direct mail, online, offline, or a combination of cold calling and a marketing budget. So it really just going to boil down to that. The more sellers you talk to, the closer you're going to get to deals, so it's that simple. Now, the math has worked for me over the years. If I talk to 5 people per day, I'm probably going to do 5 deals that month. You know what I'm saying? So that's roughly 150 people over a 30-day period or whatever. So that's a lot. So you understand that you're going to have to talk to a lot of people to get deals if you're just wholesaling.
Hey, Hosea Aaron on YouTube wants to know, what is the proper way to accept a private money lender's money if you are only using their money to get a hard money loan for a fix and flip?
So the proper way to accept their money, I'm really not sure what you mean, but they're going to give you their terms on what they will require to accept their money. Normally they'll pay for the house, and they may even roll in the closing costs. Nowadays it's not as I guess readily available. When I first got started, when I started actually trying to do some flips, they would give you money for everything. You didn't have to show up with no money. Now they normally may want 10 or 20% down, then they'll escrow the repair portion of the loan. So I'm not sure what he really meant about the comment. If you're talking hard money, normally you're operating on their terms, because it's their money. So let me see if I can read this from my Instagram. Realtor Edwin says, okay, it rolled up. Realtor Edwin, I'm sorry if you can repeat that, man. Let me try Mr. Fresh Meek. Where would you recommend ordering bandit signs from, or do you make your own? Ordering bandit signs, the company that I've promoted over the last few years is Dirt Cheap Signs. You can go to dirtcheapsigns.com. I recommend that you don't order online. Actually, just go to the website to get the phone number, and you can call and speak to Curtis or Christina. They'll give you the discount that they offer people that I refer, which is 5%, not a lot, but it'll add up over time. Now you can use that as a price point. You don't have to use them. You can find a better deal, roll with it. Normally it's difficult to find a better deal locally than these online outfits, but dirtcheapsigns.com. You can call them and speak to Curtis or Christina and just let them know Ty Taylor referred you.
Hey, Napoleon on Facebook asked, how do you get phone numbers to cold call?
Well, you can obviously call for sale by owners, whether online or offline. Keep in mind that a property that's advertised online, it's already advertised online. So even if you get it on contract, a lot of times that listing does not go away. So it's still there available for anyone to call after they start doing their due diligence. And who I'm referring to are actual buyers. So keep that in mind. So that's one way. Another way, you can be proactive and target landlords for rent properties online and offline. A lot of times online stuff, they're going to be listed by either property management companies and or realtors. So understand that you're not talking to the owner, but you still ask the question. Making offers or inquiring is free. But your goal is to try to talk to as many landlords as possible, because even if you're using banner signs or direct mail, the largest group of a particular type of property owners are going to be tired landlords that you're going to probably do deals with. So you can be proactive and target them just out the gate or whatever. So let me read another one off of Instagram. Can you explain a HUD closing to me, please, and how do I do that type of closing? When you say a HUD closing, if you're talking about a HUD property, you know, there's a bidding process on HUD properties. If I'm understanding you correctly, so that's a totally different ball game. You can't wholesale those in the sense that we're talking about. You're going to have a buyer that's willing to work with you as far as funding the deal, unless you have your own money to fund the deal. But then we're really not talking about wholesaling at that point. So you may have to be a little more clear on your question there. Let me try to get Edwin's question in. If someone calls you trying to sell a house, but they are not the owner, should still talk to them or ask to speak with the owner? Well, just before we started this Flippinar, I had a lady that called me. It's the second time she's called me about a property, and it's her sister's, she says her cousin that lives in New York, and we're here in Birmingham, Alabama. So yeah, that happens all the time, that someone else will call for someone. You know, you'll have the children of a family member call sometimes, and this is like a cousin or friend. I've done a lot of deals like that. Now you'll eventually need to speak with the owner. But a lot of times they just may be proactive because they seen your sign or something like that. And they're just thinking about whoever they're trying to help. So no, it's not a big deal if someone else, but at some point you're going to have to deal directly with the owner when you get to the contract process of a particular deal.
Okay, going back to YouTube, Joey asked, do you want to tell the buyer a price or let them make you an offer? Maybe you could come out ahead.
Well, as far as telling a buyer a price, I'm going to already advertise a price, and they're going to make an offer based on the price. See, I may have a property on the contract for, we'll just say 50 grand. I may advertise it at 75. So I'm already giving them a price, you know, so I'm expecting an offer. Sometimes they'll pay what you're asking, not often, but sometimes they'll actually pay what you're asking. So that'll depend. Let me see if I can read this from Instagram. All right. Someone said, sorry, I think I have the terms mixed up, but what is it called when you close and the other parties can't see what your profit was? I guess, well, you could do a double closing, and then sometimes they say you don't have a seller's HUD and a buyer's HUD. So those are two methods. You know, I don't really get concerned about that. Just like I said yesterday, closed a deal, and you know, they don't, man, those people, man, the last thing on their mind that I was making money on that deal. They knew they were getting their money, and they did not care, man. That was the last thing on their mind. It just doesn't work that way. Guys, you're overthinking it. I'm just telling you. everybody's getting what they wanted out of the deal. Worry yourself about finding great deals. If you find great deals, it's hard to, it's very easy. And I don't like to use the word easy a lot. Very easy to get your deals closed.
Okay, Joey asked a simple question. He wants to know, are there too many people doing this?
Well, obviously, the fewer people doing anything, the more opportunity for you. But unless you're in a very small town, no, it's just no such thing. Yeah, if you're in just even where I live, I do 30 deals this year, and no one knew who I was. No one would, in the sense of, I've been around a little while, so I know a few people. But even if I was just starting, I did 30 deals out the gate, which would be awesome. That may mean $150,000, $250,000, and no one knew I existed. That's only like I will just say 2.5 deals a month, if my math is correct, maybe a little more, a little less, but somewhere that's not a lot. So no one group, no one person can buy up all the real estate in any decent sized market. So to answer your question, no, dive in, get in the game.
Okay, another YouTube user asked, actually states, their biggest concern is not being able to estimate repairs accurately. How do you recommend going about that for newbies to structure a deal and give an offer?
Well, the way I was taught to do it and the way I teach it, you break repairs down in $5,000 increments. There's no exact number. You just need a ballpark number so you won't waste time with the particular deal. Now, I do have an actual from my older Flippinar format. If you'll go to YouTube, do a search for estimating repairs for wholesaling houses, you'll see that particular Flippinar, and I go into detail on how you can actually estimate repairs. Let me ask one from Instagram if I can get it. What happens if you get a deal under contract and the owner sees you listed his or her property online and confronts you? What do you do in that situation? That's happened to me. So if that happened, that's part of the reason why you don't include the address. I'll just let them know that I'm being proactive and, trying to find a buyer for it before I buy it. I just straight up, so a lot of times that's going to be cool with them. Sometimes it won't be. It may be a deal breaker. If it's a deal breaker, you let them know, hey, if you're not comfortable with that, then, hey, we can easily cancel this agreement. And it's that simple. Now, you have to be aware of who you're dealing with. Some people are very internet savvy or whatever, but a lot are not, especially in the age group of people that own a lot of real estate. They're just not. One of the deals that I lost money on trying to be greedy, the guy saw me advertising the property on Zillow. That's when it was easy to place properties on Zillow. As a matter of fact, it was last summer. When I say lost money, because I went and paid his taxes or whatever on the property, and boom, I got hammered. You know what I'm saying? Making some rookie mistakes. Trying to be greedy. Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered.
Okay. We have a question again from YouTube. Would you recommend getting a Google Voice number or just having your actual number for potential sellers and buyers? Or is there something else you would suggest?
Well, let's go back let me answer this one from Instagram right quick. What up, Flip? Long time never got to thank you for start. We've got something. Somebody was just thanking me. No problem. But on the Google Voice question, yeah, Google Voice, because it's free, roll with it. I use an app called Sideline. I hadn't checked it. Like someone told me they're charging $1 for it now, but that's just $1. You can afford $1 a month or whatever. But I use the app called Sideline. I actually like it better than Google Voice. But again, Google Voice works fine also.
Okay. Facebook, I'm not really getting anything, so I'm just going to stick with YouTube for right now. I haven't seen anything else come through. I do have a question on YouTube. He's ultimately asking what other areas could you, I guess, use as far as marketing. He says, like doing what I'm doing. Is that, I guess, a possibility? Let me pull that question back up. I'm sorry, guys. I lost it there. Ty, you have Larry who's wanting to know where can he find your videos. He says he's having a hard time finding them. I've advised that they were on YouTube, though.
Okay, Larry. Really simple, Larry. A couple of things you can do. Just go to YouTube. If you do a search for the Flip Man, you should see this logo right here. This guy with his hands holding up. It should say channel, and if you tap onto that, it should take you to my channel. If you tap on the guy, that's supposed to be me. I need to lose about 50 more pounds to get there, but if you tap on him, it should take you to my channel. You just hit the tab that says videos, and boom. So you do a search on YouTube first. If you see this cat here, tap on it. Click on it or tap or whatever you're doing, and then it'll take you to my channel. Select the video tab, or you can go to flipman.net. Scroll down till you see the where it says access to 200 plus videos. Click or tap on that particular banner, and it'll take you to my channel. So those are the easy ways to get there. So let me try to well, it rolled up on YouTube. Somebody on Instagram says, "What up, Ty? This is Lionel, the info on mobile home." I think that's Lionel from my interview. You just text me, man. What you got, Adrian? I'm sorry. Run that back.
Kay Uglu says, "Love your videos. My goal is to start looking for houses this month. In the meantime, I'm thinking of working a contract for a wholesaler in some type of capacity to learn as I go and make funds. Any ideas on what capacity I could offer my services? Maybe like what Adria's doing. Not trying to take your job, though. You're doing great."
She is doing horrible. Hey, but anyway, that's my girl, one of the smartest people I know. As far as what you can do for another wholesaler, I'm the wrong person to ask on that. Well, what makes that wholesaler smarter than you? Answer that question. Why do you think you need to work with them? Why do you think you can't do what they're doing? All the information that I offer is free. Everything you need to know is on my channel. You can't afford me or someone like me. I give away all the information. So what is that wholesaler doing that you can't do? If that person can answer that question for me. Let me ask. Okay, I don't see a question there. What you got?
Okay, he said shame on you for that comment, but I'll take it. And going to give a congratulatory hand clap to Off-Roader, who just got his first offer accepted. Only $4,000, but hey, that's money in the bank, Off-Roader.
No, he closed the deal?
No, he just got his offer accepted. He's going to make $4,000. He will close with positive vibes.
Okay, yeah. Nothing like action.
Okay, question, Quantum Ware. What do you do when you sent out yellow letters and got a call back from a seller and offers an amount for the property, but does not want to show you the inside of the property to make an offer?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you really have a motivated seller. And even if they are motivated, you're dealing with a fool. So it's going to be hard to get that deal to the closing table. That's when you have to see what you have to do. You always want to be nice to people. Always want to be nice to people, right? Building rapport. But sometimes you just have to be firm that, hey, the only way we're going to be able to do this deal, I have to see the inside of it. And I may have to see the inside of it multiple times with partners / contractors. So if they're not willing to do that, then you're wasting your time. So you make it clear to them. You don't give them an option. So let me see if I can read this question from Instagram. How does one go about finding the owner of a boarded up home or vacant homes? Well, the first thing you want to do is obviously have the address and once you have the address, you do a search at the county. The tax bill has to go somewhere. If it's a non-disclosure state, you may have trouble getting that information. But in the states where that information is public, they're just a Google search away in a lot of cases. Now, some of those websites are not user-friendly, so you have to maneuver through them. They're governmental sites. Some are going to be better than others. And so once you locate the owner, you can then do a search, try to find their phone number. It may be difficult sometimes, but if you got their actual mailing address, then you reach out to them by mail. The other thing you can do, you can try to skip trace them through some of the free sites like Intellus.com. There are others like that out there. You can go ask the neighbors, give them an incentive to contact the owner for you, leave your number, let them know that you'll give them $500,000 if you buy the house. So those are a couple of ways that you can try to reach out. Just to read a question from Instagram, again, I think, it says, also, would you prefer marketing on Zillow since the owner can find his or her property and confront you? I appreciate the answers. I've watched over 80 videos. Thanks, man. You got 120 plus to go. But yeah, I would take that case by case on whether or not I would advertise on Zillow, depending on who I'm dealing with. Some people, when you're talking to sellers, you know they're not on the internet. Now, it may be a situation, some of their relatives are there, and for whatever reason, they search the property and they see it's advertised. So that's the risk you're taking. You know, you're just going to have to take that case by case and go on your field, because it's going to always be, could be a possible issue. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, going to Facebook. Miss Rita White says she just bought her signs. Way to go, Rita. Now go put them up. But Miss Faith Jackson asks, how motivated does the seller have to be? She's doing her first deal and the seller wants to sell it, but his attitude is 50-50, meaning he said he doesn't have to sell it, but he wants to sell it.
Well, the motivation, see, he may not be that motivated to sell, not a need thing, but I've done deal like the deal I did again yesterday. I'll keep referencing it. Those people did not need the money. I'm gonna put like that. As far as my understanding of what I felt about, dealt with enough sellers, they didn't sell it because they needed the money. The husband was tired of dealing with it. It was just what the house his wife grew up in or whatever, and he was tired of going over cutting the grass. He's in his 70s, and so they felt that was a fair price that they gave me, and it was all right. I made money on it, but I wasn't happy with it. Let me just say, I'm always happy. I could have been a lot happier or whatever. Word up to one of my students that wanted to do that deal with me. And, but anyway, so they were really not that motivated to sell the house, because if I didn't go with the price that they wanted, they were just going to put the money into it and maybe, capitalize. But a husband knew he was going to be the one responsible for all of that. So the real motivation comes with if you get in the price that that's going to work. You know what I'm saying? Now, he may still not be that excited about selling it, but again, that price works, the different the levels of motivation. So roll with it. I deal with those type of people all the time that they really don't need to sell. It's just they just tired of dealing with the property. Let me try to get this one on Instagram if it doesn't roll up. What up, Flip Man? As all is well in Miami, you mentioned closing 30 deals so far this year. Congrats. Out of those 30 deals, what percentage of that deals Bandit Signs or any other market? Now, I didn't say I've closed 30 yet. That'll be a lot. I've closed deals, but not 30 yet. We still got 6 months left. But to answer your question, yeah, Bandit Signs is just my thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just my thing. I'm just going to put out a lot of them. When I don't put out a lot of them, I'm not doing deals. So, I'm the wrong person to ask on that in the sense of what I choose. Because a lot of stuff, well, I'm saying a lot of stuff, but direct mail works also, but it's more expensive and you have to be a lot more patient with that. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then with Bandit Sign, it's a different mentality of seller. When they call you because they seen a Bandit Sign, it's a different attitude versus when you send them a letter and they call you and say, well, what are you offering? You know, like that or whatever. It's just it's a different attitude. Both work. I'm just telling you, bandit signs are cheaper. They're more efficient and you can get faster responses. Not for everybody. I'm just telling you, in my experience, I prefer those.
Okay, Shaq Smith on YouTube asked a two-part question, and then I'll get to you, Roy Kennedy. I will. Shaq's question is, I'm working with a motivated seller, but the property has deed issues because it was sold illegally to someone unbeknownst to the seller. Now he has to clear the title. Any tips? And then he also asks, what about properties in pre-foreclosures due to taxes? Can they be wholesaled?
Well, the first part of that question about the deed, what you want to always do is just get what's needed. You go to the title company and ask them what's needed to get the title clear. Don't leave it up to the seller to handle this. Now, you'll need them, but you want to be proactive in making sure that if it's possible to get it clear, you're doing all the lead work. You're going to need the seller, but you don't want to wait on them. Well, I'll call this or this. No, you're going to initiate everything as much as you possibly can. Some of the stuff is going to be their private information that you can't get it, but you're going to be pushing it. You're going to be, if you need to go get a payoff or something, you just do all the leg where you got to push it because the title company is going to take their time. And a lot of times the seller will take their time. You just make sure you're doing everything to push the issue on that. Second part.
Pre-foreclosure due to taxes, can they be wholesaled as well?
Well, if it's a tax situation where they're in trouble with the state or whoever, it really doesn't matter if the equity is there. It just boils down to that, and the seller's going to sell at a price that's going to make sense for you. And understanding that the taxes will be paid out of their proceeds. Now, everything is negotiable. Anything is negotiable. Sometimes you may have to dial up and pay some of that. Sometimes all if it still allow you to make money. But to answer your question, those are motivated sellers. If they're not paying the taxes on the property, there's a strong possibility there's going to be a level of motivation there. And so if the numbers work, they work. Let me see if I can answer. Well, it scrolled up on YouTube.
Okay. Omar Flowers on Facebook says he has a contract that has 14 days left on it. He's having a hard time trying to find a buyer. Any suggestions?
Well, I would have to know what you're doing. What have you done already to find a buyer? Again, sometimes your market is spoken. If you've done an effective job of advertising the property, a lot of times it just boils down. You didn't get it. It's not cheap enough. You didn't negotiate a cheap enough deal. If you've done your online and offline marketing, Craigslist, bandit signs in the area, whatever, and your phone is not ringing or whatever, then your market is spoken in a lot of cases. If you contacted other wholesalers, called other We Buy Houses signs, did maybe a little research to find out what realtors are dealing with cash buyers in that area, and you're still not getting a buyer, a lot of times it's just not cheap enough. So without knowing what you've already done, knowing the numbers on it, I can't really just give you a blanket answer there. Let me see if I can read this on Instagram. Flippinars, is it possible to be successful at this if you work a full-time job? Just asking because I'm new at this and I want to be sure that it's possible to do with my current schedule. But without knowing your current schedule, when I started, I had a full-time job. Most of the people that I know have a full-time job when they start this. You just make it work. It's not a time-demanding type of business by no means. You do have to put the work in. You just manage your time. There's just so much technology out there that makes it very possible to do this business and you have a full-time gig. A lot of the stuff that exists now didn't exist when I started 14 plus years ago as the date of this Flippinar. So yes, you can definitely do it with a full-time job. I think most people start that way. Another question from Instagram. What if your buyer does not want to put up earnest money? You don't have a buyer in place and they need to at least put up that earnest money with an actual title company or a closing attorney, and you have to be, you have to have a way of verifying that, calling that location and, speaking to someone to let you know that, yeah, it's in place, it's in escrow. But if they don't want to put up any at all, oh no, you're not dealing with anybody you want to deal with. It just doesn't work that way on that end of it or whatever. So for sure. So let me read another one from Instagram. Is there a general script you use for speaking with sellers or when sending yellow notes, yellow letters? All right. So from Instagram again. So yeah, I actually give you the script that I use, or for the most part, the information that's needed. Just simply go to YouTube, do a search for top 10 questions to ask sellers when wholesaling houses, and you should see that video of mine. As far as the question about what's in a yellow letter, it's just really simple, guys. Just keep it simple, short, 2 or 3 sentences. Hi, my name is Todd Taylor. I'm interested in the property at 123 Main Street. We pay all cash. I'm interested in buying the property at 123 Main Street. We pay all cash. We close it quickly. We buy as is. If you're interested in selling this property or any other property that you own, please call or text me your contact information. Read another one from Instagram. What does the seller, when does the seller move out? What's the timeline? I think 30 days is a reasonable amount of time. What you can do to ensure that happens, you can hold back some of the money in escrow that they're paid for their property to ensure that they move out within a reasonable amount of time. So then that's going to also have to be negotiated with your buyer on that also. Let me pull another one from Instagram since they're rolling in like this. What would be the first step for someone who is new to wholesaling in 2017? The first step is to educate yourself, whether it's through my 200 plus free videos or wherever. You need to educate yourself and know what you're doing, and even more important, sound like you know what you're doing. So to educate yourself at first, and from that point, you definitely just want to take action, get your phone ringing. It simplifies this business a lot.
All right, going to YouTube. This is going to be your math. Is it a deal question of the evening? This is from Roy. He has a seller asking $11,000. The after repair value is $45,000, and the repairs are 12 and a half. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath on the west side of Birmingham. And is that a deal?
Man, you got to get that house under 5.
Okay, you heard that, Roy. Under $5,000, then you have a deal. Not enough room there for you. Okay. Joey asked, does the IRS get us right away, or can I put all the money back in on a couple of deals before I register for a business?
Seek out a CPA on that. I hate to get into the tax stuff. I had some issues with that myself. I'm going to always just advise you to seek out a CPA. Understand that this is income and it needs to be reported. So seek out a CPA on that kind of stuff.
Napoleon Hill on Facebook says, I've been full-time with this for 4 months now, averaging $10,000 monthly. Go ahead, Napoleon. But he has a problem. He says he feels like he has too much free time. He doesn't like that feeling. He wants to do more. What should a full-time wholesaler's day look like?
That's a very good question, man. The problem with that is I don't know what type of money you were making before, but if you're doing 10 a month, you know what I'm saying? For most people that change their financial situation, it changes it quickly. This is not a very time-sensitive, demanding business. I'm just being real with you. I'm not blowing smoke. I had to sort of get used to that myself, that you have a lot of dead time. Now, you can always be doing something if it's nothing but reaching out to sellers online, either, as I said, landlords and or for sale, or you can be driving around. You could actually always be doing something. It's just that you're comfortable with that 10 grand a month. That's 120K a year. And it's coming probably fairly easy for you. So you can always do more, even if it's just Again, putting direct mail campaigns together all day. Obviously, you have the budget to do it now, or you should. And so you can always be doing more. But again, I understand. I had to get used to that myself, because if you worked a 9 to 5 like I had all my life leading up to before I started doing this full time, is that, you're used to being somewhere all day, where basically for someone else, but you're used to being somewhere all day. So you could find yourself like, damn, I know I'm making this money, I'm all right or whatever, but I should be doing something else, so that's going to be a personal thing. But yeah, there are other things you can do, because you could compound what you're already doing. If nothing else, like I say, you can do a lot of research on properties, online and offline. But I know what you mean. You'll get used to it. But that's, what they, as Marlo Stanfield will say from The Wire, that's one of them good problems.
All right, Destiny Young on YouTube says she has her first meeting tomorrow at 1:00 to put her first house under contract. And she knows that you say in your 200 plus videos, if they force you to make an offer that you're embarrassed about. Well, after plugging in the formula, she offered $35,000 and she countered with $40,000. The seller countered with $40,000, which she accepted. The seller called back today to ask, could we do 42 because 40 was too low. I told her we will speak about that on tomorrow. She still plans on accepting the offer because she's going to try to sell it for $58,000. The upstairs and downstairs roof needs work, and she's valued the house at $157,000. Deal, even with the roof work.
The ARV is $157,000.
She said she values the house at $157,000. Obviously, after her homework, that's what she's come up with.
Yeah, that's a home run. Hey, the 42. Hey, man, you got to run out there and make that happen. A roof, that's it. Yeah, that's a great deal. You should make 5 figures on that, easily. That's a home run. That's over $100K in equity. So yeah, man, them the ones you don't sleep at night before that closing. So yeah, you're good. Roll with that 42. Don't even haggle with it. Roll with that 42. If your numbers are on, that's considered a great deal. Even if it needed $30K in repairs, that's an unbelievable deal. You still should make 20 grand on that deal easily.
Yeah, everybody is concurring with those sentiments, Ty, and YouTube saying, get it, jump on it. That's awesome. She says she has, after everything, it should be $65,000 with the repairs. So if she gets it under contract for 42, she gets to get that difference of, what is that? Oh, 23. And the buyer is going to be happy because he still has about 100 grand to wiggle with. Oh, that's a deal, baby. That's the deal. Cha-ching. Okay. She came back. She says, if a seller thought the price was too low and she wanted you to talk to her realtor, would you do it? And it's a duplex, by the way.
Oh man, oh man, yeah. I talk to whoever she want me to talk to. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter, man. That's a big time deal right there. You talking about getting in the. I don't know if that's your first deal or not, but that's the way you want to enter into this business. You want to get in there any way you can, but a deal like that, man, that changes some things just quickly.
Yeah, it does. Okay, sticking with YouTube, let's go here to this question. What is a good software? Joey, software for what? He doesn't specify, but I guess just in general, are there any softwares that you would use that helps you in wholesaling?
I got a question like that today from a guy. They say a software to find leads. Guys, we all want stuff to be easy. There's plenty of technology out there to help you research and create leads. But just a software that's just going to produce leads for you. Now think about it now, on top of this, now even if that existed, and I guess there are some stuff similar to that, but not probably in the way that you think. Now, you're not the only one getting those leads. So you could still be the first one to make it happen, which would be a good thing if that existed. I can't recommend anything. I don't know of anything like that or whatever, but we don't know what type of software. I'm rambling here. I don't know what type of software he's talking about. Let me try to read this question from Instagram. What do you consider when you're at seeking a seller as far as the house goes? The area, the price, what do you look for? I just look for a great deal. The area has to justify the price. The condition has to justify the price. So it really doesn't matter to me. Most of the deals I've done, I'm not saying everybody has to do this by no means. I've been in quote unquote the hood or war zones. The majority of the deals that I've done over the years. So, it's not as easy as it used to be over there. I say that I somewhat target other areas, but it doesn't matter. The price has to fit the area, and along with the repairs that are needed on the property.
Okay, Mr. Gigi on YouTube says, have you done any contract for deed or land contract deals, or just stuck to regular residential and commercial wholesale deals and lease option to buy deals only? Why or why not?
To answer your question, no, I've done very little of that over the years. Just not my thing. No real reason. I'm not the most organized. I wouldn't say I'm a procrastinator in that sense. I get stuff done, but look, that takes a little bit more organization, in my opinion, a little bit more deep attention to detail, and those are not my strong points. So that's probably more of it than anything. I just like to be in and out, So let me read this one from Instagram. If you're at the end of your contract or don't sell the property, do you restructure that deal or move to another property? In most cases, I'm going to go back and ask for more time. If they don't give it to me, we separate, go different ways. If they do, I move forward and try to find a buyer for it. Another question from Instagram. What's the golden range percentage you shoot for when finishing a deal? I don't. Like the deal I did yesterday, I only made $1,000 on it. You know what I'm saying? But, a student was involved in that, so it was more that than anything. But I wasn't greedy on it. He wanted it, so we rolled with it, so, so I don't really have a percentage. It's just getting deals closing more than anything with me. Obviously I want to make as much money as possible, but the speed of it probably matters more than what I make in a lot of cases, because I just move on to the next property. Not that you don't do multiples at one time, but I'm just saying that's just me. So I don't really have a percentage because it's hard I just think it's hard to come up with a percentage I can make because each deal is different and the circumstances are different.
All right. This is a question again from YouTube from Jay's Investing. He asked, is it possible to get a listed property under contract by having the seller cancel the listing agreement with the agent, or should this method be avoided?
Well, from my understanding, the seller can cancel the agreement if they want. Some realtors out there could probably correct me on that if I'm wrong. As long as the agent hasn't spoken to that potential buyer or whatever. So I'm not sure how that actually works, but I'm pretty comfortable in saying that they can cancel a listing. Now I wouldn't try to push it or whatever. If they mention it, I'll let them know I would be interested in it if they did. Again, there's some realtors out there that may could correct me on that, but I think Instagram is about to end here in a minute or so. We're going to go a few more minutes on this. I may restart Instagram, but it's about to end here in just about a minute. So just to make you all aware.
Okay, let's see here. Maurice Quinton says he's met a realtor that is cool with wholesaling. How can he use her? How can he use her services? Yeah, Quinn, clean that up.
Maybe she can get you access to some properties or something. I really don't. I don't know. I guess she could send you some. Depends on how their MLS is set up. It will allow you to pull some cash buyers and be able to get their contact information. She could reach out for you. Normally, I don't like to use my own realtor in that sense of when I'm targeting properties because let me see if I can share this. Because it's better to, I'm trying to restart this Instagram, excuse me. In my opinion, it's better to contact the listing agent to give them an opportunity to make the full commission. If you don't know, most real estate agents, they have to share in their commission because it's rare that they'll list a property and find a buyer for it. So they have to depend on other real. That's what MLS, well, the main purpose of MLS is to share their listing so other agents can bring a potential buyer to the table. So they may share that. So they'll have to share their commission. So you give them an opportunity to keep the entire amount, 100%, because they're gonna have to break it down with the broker if they're not one. So that increases, not guarantees, but increases your chances of your deal getting accepted, because a lot of times they'll still make more money if they accept your actual offer. Back here on Instagram, went live back on Instagram. Let me ask this question. Can you use the same comps on a home that has the same number of baths and bedrooms, square footage, but one is detached and the other one? I'm not sure what they mean by that. One is detached. You may have to clear that up on Instagram. What we got, Adrian?
All right, Juan Balbino asks, he says, hey, I just got my first order of 50 bandit signs. Do you recommend to put them up on Friday? And do I put a bunch up in one single neighborhood or spread the 50 signs around my city in different, very strategic places?
Repeat that.
He has 50 signs. Should he put them up on a Friday? And where should he put them up? In one neighborhood or try to spread them out?
50 is not a lot, but it's action. So I'm going to applaud you on that. But 50 is not a lot. So those need to really go in one area. And I wouldn't put them all out at once. I'll put out maybe 25, see how long those stay up, and then maybe put out another 25. But you go ahead and order more as soon as you can, man. You really, in order to get the impact that you need, in my opinion, you need probably 150 out over probably a 3 to 4 week period. So just in my opinion, and obviously it depends on how long those stay up and how effective of a job that you do on it. So let me try to get this one from Instagram. I think they reworded it. Can you use the same comps on a home that has the same beds and bath and square footage, but one is detached and their other one semi-detached? What do you mean what's being detached? If you could explain that for me. I don't know what you're saying that's detached.
Okay, JT Peterkin on YouTube has our Is It a Deal question. He says, I have a property with 4 lots included, 4, for $25,000 under contract. And the after repair value is $147,000. I want to sell it for 40. Should I sell it for more, or is 40K good?
What were the numbers?
Yeah, 25K under contract, after repair value for the home that sits on 4 lots, 147,000, and he wants to flip it for 40K.
If you got under contract for 25 and the ARV is 140, and you if it were me, depending on the repairs, but I wouldn't probably put that out there for less than probably 70. For less than that, I probably may put it out there at 80. depending on the condition of it.
Okay, so it sounds like we need to know how much repairs it needs to see, and you can answer that, and we'll repeat that. Peter can. Victoria Dingle says, when an owner lives in another state, but I cannot get an updated address or phone number. I've skip traced on Intellius, been verified, public records, and even contacted family via Facebook. Any other sites, or can I call appraisal office to get contact information for a property that's vacant?
So she can't find an owner.
Correct.
I'm assuming you may have the mailing address. You can definitely direct mail them, depending on how you send it. On just one address like that, I would send it UPS or FedEx to ensure someone signs for it, because you can check the tracking on it or whatever. But sounds like you've done a lot of the things. Did she mention that she tried to talk to any of the neighbors?
She said that she's even contacted family via Facebook, but she doesn't say whether they responded. So maybe she hasn't gotten a response yet. Okay.
Yeah, you're being proactive, but if you haven't tried to talk to any of the neighbors to see if they could, do they know the individual, can reach out to them, I definitely would encourage that. So other than that, and outside of direct mailing them, you can't find a phone number. Sounds like you've covered it, covered it all. Question from Instagram: can I flip commercial property the same with these same steps? Now, evaluating a commercial property is going to be different than evaluating a house, and depending on what type of commercial property you're talking about. But once you actually have a seller in place and a buyer in place under contract, then the process does become the same as a house for the most part.
Okay. Let's see here. How do you handle? Well, that's a repeat. We've already answered that one, guys. You're going to have to go back in the video. I think that was in regards to landlord tenant properties. That was one of the very first ones we got. We'll go back to that. Let's see here. We have Ty. Have you ever did a deal using a subject to?
Only once that I've done that, just one. I don't like that process. It's just not me. It's too detailed, man. But to answer your question, I did it once, and basically I wholesaled the deal in the sense I put it all together and got rid of it. I don't like the process, but that's a great way to acquire some properties. In reality, I got to let some of that stuff go that I have issues with, because I've allowed a lot of wealth building opportunities pass me by because of a lot of my, uncomfortableness, if that's a word, with different types of techniques that I could have taken advantage of easily over the years. So, but to answer your question, once, and I got rid of it quickly. Just one from Instagram. Do I have to have an LLC to do my first deal, or can I just do it and worry about that on the next deal? Yes, you can just worry about it later.
Okay, Keith Neal says he has owners who say they need to get rid of their properties, but the price is too high in the ATL according to your formula. What should I do?
Sounds like you, Keith. You need to keep targeting more properties, man. That's not uncommon. How many properties are we talking about? You could easily talk to 100 people, and 2 deals come out of that, or 3. That's only 3%, and 100 is a lot, But if you're talking to 3 or 4 people a day, it really won't seem like a lot. So you have to talk to a lot of sellers. The majority of the people, understand this, people. The majority of the sellers that you talk to, they're going to be in la la land about their price compared to what you needed to make it work for you. So understand that off the top. That's why it's so important that you have to talk to a lot of sellers, but it's worth it. It is worth it. life-changing money. So to answer his question.
All right, Natalie Williams has a question. She has a motivated seller that mailed her the keys after receiving a yellow letter. The after repair value is $190,000. The repairs are $90,000.
Oh.
What would you offer, and how much would you market it for?
Wow, you're talking about a very motivated seller. They sent you the keys, but if the repairs are basically $100,000 and it's worth $100, I would probably, let me see, 150. Ooh, that's a lot. I would probably offer 25 just starting. Obviously, the lady knows it needs a lot of repairs or whatever. If you're comfortable with knowing that that's what it will probably cost, I would start at 25. But probably the highest that I would probably go is probably about 40. That's going to, that's a serious project. If it's going to take $100,000 in repairs. Let's take one more, and then we're gonna roll out of here. I think we've done good tonight.
Okay. What if another wholesaler in another city sends you a property in your city? Is that an automatic JV if I find a buyer? What if the numbers are wrong, and how do I approach that they're wrong without insulting the other wholesaler?
Oh, you just let them know those numbers don't work for you. It's you're not insulting them. You let them know that the numbers don't work. For what you do, for what you're understanding, you may be wrong or whatever. You just let them know there's no insult there. The numbers are the numbers. Was the property in his market, or was the property in his market or someone else's market?
Right. The property is in her market, and it was sent to her from someone in another city.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. I get that all the time. And I welcome it on. You find something here, if it's a deal, I can move it. But I get people contacting me all the time, I guess, because I'm out there so much on YouTube or whatever. But I let them question, man, those numbers are not going to work, man. You know what I'm saying? And I've yet to have somebody call me back, say I was wrong. So, but normally they're so off compared to where they really need to be or whatever. So don't feel any type of way by letting them know that their numbers are off.
Just because we got a question from Facebook, we did get many. Vincente Ramirez asked, what is the most to charge as an assignment fee?
I don't think there's no, that's the great thing about it. That's what's one of the things that separates you from a realtor. There's no cap on how much you make. I hate to give an extreme example, but if I could get the Empire State Building on the contract for $100 million, I don't know where I've heard it's worth $1 billion. So we'll just say if I can get on the contract for $600 million, I could probably make $100 million off of it, and there'll probably be a cash buyer from China or Russia somewhere, or Saudi Arabia or Dubai or whatever. So there's no cap on it. There's no cap on it. That's one of the great things about it. If you get a deal attractive enough, depending on the total amount of the deal, what the ARV is, and what you get in there's no cap on how much money you can make if it allows a buyer to pay cash for it, which means quickly.
All right. And just because I said I would get back to Mr. Peterkin, Mr. Peterkin had the deal that was under contract for $25,000 and the after repair value was $147,000. He came back and said the repairs were actually $75,000, so still $47,000 out there. But he says he was told the neighborhood wasn't that great either. How much of a difference does that make?
That makes a huge difference if the repairs are 75. That's a lot, man. I'm talking about, it must be a huge house for the repairs to be that much, or a burnout or something like that. But yeah, that changes things. So yeah, you if you can make $5 or $10 off that deal, you'll be fortunate with the repairs being that much. But if it has an ARV of 147, it ain't that bad. Don't get caught up in what people say. If people living over there, people doing deals over there. So but again, with that many repairs, if you're accurate on that, that's going to be that leaves a very little room for you to make money with $147,000 ARV.
Ty, how do you avoid selling to another wholesaler? Seems that could get really complicated at closing.
You'll be able to sniff wholesalers out in a minute. I don't have a problem with dealing with other wholesalers if they bring a buyer to. I don't care, but I'm going to treat in most cases they're going to have to do it the way I want to do it. But it's just obvious when you're dealing with another wholesaler, just the way they talk. Most wholesalers, they're not going to close. They're not going to talk in the terms as soon as you can get a clear title. They're going to be talking about 30 days. But cash buyers don't talk like the conversation doesn't flow like that. So to smoke out another wholesaler, which again, it's fine to deal with the other wholesalers, don't get me wrong, but I'll just go ahead and flat out. So you trying to wholesale this? I let them know I don't have a problem. I just, I just need to be transparent so I know how to proceed or whatever. So, but you shouldn't get to closing and realize it. Well, I'll tell you this, it doesn't matter if another wholesaler has put a closing together, I guess you'll be involved in it. I'm going to need earnest money in some form or fashion from somebody. So that's number one. All right. But if we get to a closing, it doesn't matter. I don't care if he make double or triple what I make, or whatever. So lesson learned.
All right, in closing, Ty, for any of those who are just coming on, you're welcome, Destiny. Got a lot of questions answered here tonight. If you have any other questions, you can most definitely play this video back, but where else can they look for videos, information, contact you, any of that stuff, Ty?
Well, this replay will pretty much go up immediately on YouTube, so you can still ask questions there and I'll answer them. Again, I have the 200 plus videos right here on YouTube. Do a search for the Flip Man. As I explained to the gentleman earlier, tap on the little guy here, and that should take you to my channel if you ever see that, the dude doing this or whatever. But probably supposed to be me, 50 pounds lighter. But so you can access them there. Obviously, flipman.net, you can access the free videos, but you need an actual coach with the step-by-step training. The videos are not fast enough for it because they are a puzzle on YouTube. They're not in any certain order, but if you need step-by-step training with a coach directly from me, then I offer that at flipman.net as a paid option. Remember, I do have a new course, mini course at findsellers.net and findowners.net. So again, Adrian, we appreciate you producing for us this week. Please hang on as I end this, but anything you want to share?
No, none at all. I'm waiting for my next deal too, guys. So hopefully I'll have a video on my ching money saving or money making deal soon. Wish me luck.
You need to get your signs out. Let's start there. All right. But thanks, guys, again for showing up this week. I'm not sure if we'll be here next week, 4th of July week. I know that'll be July 6th, but I'm not sure if I'll be here. So if you see me here, come like I'm going to be here, but don't be surprised if it's nothing there. So again, we appreciate everyone here. Please share this with friends, family, like it, comment. Again, and we'll see you all on the flip side. And Adrian, please hold on.